Okay. All right. So now I'm going to focus on this number. What number is there?
-1.
-1. So I'm looking for two things that add together that give me -1, and those same two numbers that multiply together to give me -20. So which one of these factors actually fits that bill? And I can use positive and negative numbers.
The first one?
Okay, if I take 20 and I add it to 1, do I get -1?
No.
They have to add up to give you -1.
So the 4 and 5.
Huh? So
The 4 and 5.
And which one's negative?
The 5?
The 5.
I don't,
The
yeah.
bigger number will always be the same sign as the middle term. That's the thing that you have to remember. So now I have my two sets of factors. So one factor would be x plus 4, and the other factor would be x minus 5. And so that is equal to this, x squared minus x minus 20. Those two things are equal to one another. I'll show you why they're equal to one another, because it's something called foiling. Do you remember this from high school a long, long time ago?
First, outer, inner, last.
So that's what I'm going to do here. So this is the first two terms. X times x is x squared. Then the outer terms. So that's minus 5x. Then the inner terms. That's plus 4x. And then the last term. That's minus 20. These two things are the same term, right?
Okay.
So what's negative 5x plus 4x?
Negative x.
So that's why these two things are equal to one another.
Okay. I would not have known anywhere to start with this, and you're making it look so easy.
We're going to practice it. I just need to know whether you know how to do it or not. And I teach this differently than most teachers. They make it way more complicated than that.
Okay.
So we'll work on the foiling stuff. And before we do the foiling, we're going to work on combining like term stuff together. And then we're going to work on, once you know how to foil, then we're going to work on factoring, which is going back the other way. And we're going to use this a lot to do the factoring.
Okay.
It's the same process over and over and over again. And within a session,
I've never seen that in my life before, the way you did that.
You've never seen that before in your life?
I have never have I been taught, like, to find how many ways and then which ones. Yeah, I've never seen that in my life. They never taught me that. So when I was learning this, this was like in 2002, 2001.
Sorry. They would turn a lot of kids onto algebra if they would actually teach it in a way that you can understand it, because every kid has done this, right?
Right.
Related to something that you actually know, and then you won't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay. We'll go over that procedure over and over and over again, and then do some practice problems.
And then I got number 8 wrong, which is...
You want to go back through that one? Because it's the exact same question. You want to try it now?
Sure.
I will walk you through it.
Okay, so number 8 is x squared.
Oh, hold on one second. For some reason, this went to a different page. I'm going back. Come on, man. Okay, I'm back.
All right, so x squared minus 5x minus 6.
What number do we focus on first?
I don't know.
Okay. Always focus on the last number first.
Okay, the last number first.
And that's our multiplication number. So that's the things that we're trying to times, right?
Okay.
So we're going to factor that number first. So write all the factors of 6.
1 times 6, 2 times 3, and that's it.
And that's it. I have a negative sign here, right? So what am I going to try to do to those two numbers?
You have to... the bigger one is going to be the negative?
The bigger one will always be the negative. That's where we're going to start. So,
right.
Is there any way to either add these two numbers together or subtract these two numbers together in order to get this number, which is 5? So I'm going to write the two blanks. Blank plus blank is equal to negative 5. And then blank times blank is equal to negative 6.
You can make the negative 6. So 1 plus negative 6 would be negative 5.
And 1 plus negative 6. That gives me my answers, right?
Yes.
So the next thing that I do is I just take those numbers and put them next to x. Is that 1 positive or negative?
Negative.
The 1. The 1. Is the 1
Which?
The actual number 1, I'm sorry.
Are you talking about the x squared? Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. It's a positive.
So I always write plus 1 even though I didn't write a positive in front of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So when you put it in parentheses, you have to write this plus sign. Okay?
Right.
And what is my other factor?
The negative 6. But
so what number so I just write x minus 6.
X minus 6.
That's all you have to do. You just put the letter in front of it, and then you write the sign with the number.
So you're putting the x there because of the x squared?
Right.
Okay.
So if this was an a squared, I would write a there. If this was a b squared, I would write b there.
Okay.
Whatever letter you see, that's the letter that you write inside the parentheses with the number.
Okay.
Okay, so what is our answer then?
So it would be, so first is x times x, so x squared, then outer,
just answer
which
the question. Just answer the question for number 8. I'm not going to make you do any more work.
What is the answer?
Mm-hmm. Go to question number 8 and tell me what the answer is.
So you're saying I should know it without having to do the foiling?
Right. Do you see either one of those parentheses in the answers? That's what I'm asking you to look for.
X minus 6?
That would be your answer.
Okay. Okay. And then I got number 10 wrong, and that was, and I got 11 right, and then I was done after that. So, but I got 10 wrong.
Okay, I'm going to teach you something else. Okay. Let me ask you this question first. What is that equal to? Tell me what you're trying to do in your head over there. You still with me? Or are you gone? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Call me back. There you are.
Better?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was weird.
I have to go back into Scribbler here. Okay.
Okay, how would you answer that question for me?
So I first did 5 times 15 plus 2, which I have to get my calculator
Okay,
out.
I want you to stop.
Why?
This is multiplication, that dot.
Okay.
So when you're multiplying a whole number by a fraction, if you can, you always divide the bottom first and then multiply the top. It works like a C.
So do you just put a 1 underneath the 15 and make it 30 over 5?
No, this is what I want you to do in your head. This is what I'm trying to train your brain to do. Take 15 and divide it by 5. What number do you get?
3.
And then multiply it with the 2 on the top.
6.
So your answer is just 6.
Okay.
So if I have this, what would that be equal to?
So 24 divided by 8 is 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then times 5 is 10.
3 times 5.
Oh, I'm sorry, 15.
Do that one.
30 divided by 15 is 2 times, is that a 4?
Yeah.
2 times 4 is 8.
Okay, you see how that works?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to make it a little harder. So I'm going to use that rule to get rid of this number.
Okay.
So I can get rid of all of the fractions. So watch what I'm going to do here. Whatever that bottom number is, I'm going to multiply everything by it. So I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to multiply it by 4.
Okay.
So this times that is just equal to
4x.
x. It's just equal to x, because what happens to the two 4's?
They cancel out.
They cancel out. This times that is equal to what?
8.
And then this times that is equal to what?
12.
And so what would x be equal to?
4.
Whenever you have a question with fractions in it, if you can multiply by the least common multiple, or the lowest common denominator, you can look at it either way, you can get rid of all the fractions by multiplying everything by that number. So let me give you one that's slightly harder.
Okay.
I want to get rid of all the fractions so I can figure out the number I need to multiply everything by.
3.
Bigger.
You said the least common? I thought you said?
The lowest common denominator or the least common multiple. So you see how I have a 3 there, a 4 there, and a 6 there?
Yeah.
What is the smallest number that all of those numbers divide evenly into?
12.
12. So I'm going to multiply everything by 12.
Okay.
So what's 3 divided by 12?
3. You said multiple, but you're dividing now?
Right. Yeah, right. Because when I found the multiple, it gave me this number to multiply by.
Okay.
Is this 3 on the top or the bottom?
It's on the bottom.
So whenever you have a number on the bottom, you need to divide it into that number first, because it's just like I gave you this to do. I'm doing the exact same thing.
Okay. So 4.
4 times 2 is?
8.
So that makes that 8x.
Okay.
Do the next one.
Then it's 3.
It's 3. Good. Do the last one.
12. I'm sorry. Well, you didn't. So
12 times that fraction.
2.
And you still got this number up top there. What do you do to that number in the 2?
You multiply it.
So what does that number change to? This is what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to do 12 times
16.
5, 6. That's what I'm asking you to do.
So you divide the 12 by 6, which is 2, and then multiply it by 5, which is 10.
Right. So that changes to 10. Do you see any fractions anymore? Here.
No. Okay.
Point.
I had a question, but I answered it. So sorry.
That's all right. It's a new skill. It's an adaptation of something we've already done before, but we're actually using it, applying it to something new. Okay.
Okay.
So now this is a 2-step algebra question. What do I move first?
You subtract the 3 on the other side, so it's 7.
And then what?
And then you have to divide the 8. So it's just 7/8. X equals 7/8.
And that's your answer.
Okay.
And that's a whole lot easier than most math teachers teach you how to do stuff. They want you to get a common denominator, so you're adding, subtracting fractions, and I don't want any of my students to do that.
Okay.
Because you might not know how to do this right away, but almost all of my students know how to do that.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so let's tackle the question that we have on that placement test now.
So the question reads, if 4/5 plus -3/10 equals x plus 1.5, then what is x?
Okay, the first thing that I need to do is I need to write this as an improper fraction. Do you remember how to do that?
So 2 times 1 plus 1
Right.
over 2.
Right.
So 3 over 2.
So 3 over 2. Then I have x there. And then I'm going to rewrite all the rest of this garbage. Now, what number do I need to multiply all of this stuff by to get rid of the fractions?
10.
Yep. Okay, now apply the rule to each one of the fractions.
So 2 times 4 is 8.
Uh-huh.
Plus, but that's a negative, but it would be -3.
Mm-hmm.
So subtracting 3 equals 10x plus 8.
2 divided by 10 is?
5.
Times 3.
Oh, multiplied by 3. I'm sorry, I added 3. 15.
Okay, let's clean it up. What's 8 minus 3?
5 equals 10x plus 15, which is subtracting the 15, which would be negative 10 equals 10x divided by 10. So negative 1 equals x.
Booyah.
Okay. See?
Does that make the math easier?
Yeah. I somehow got 11 right. I was very surprised about that, but I got that right. But I'm just sitting there like writing out T, Z, Z, Z's, and I was just like exiting it out. I'm like, okay, here we go, and I got it right. So.
I think that's the way I taught you to do that stuff a while ago.
Yeah. And then that's as far as I got. I didn't get to take any of the other ones.
Okay. All right. Shoot. Okay. Yeah, you're not ready for that rest of that stuff anyway. So.
Okay.
I think we have actually enough to chew on right now.
Right.
I do need to give you some. I'm gonna let you off the hook this week because I'm not sure how crazy your week is. But I'm gonna start with combining like terms together. I guess I don't have to do the 1 and 2 step math equations because you know how to do that.
Okay.
So maybe what I'll do is I'll start with, I want to go over this with you in the next 4 minutes because they didn't have any questions like this on this particular placement test, but I know that you will see it.
Okay.
If I write this, do you know what that's an equation for?
I do, but I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember doing it.
This is a line. This number is the slope. So it's just the m. It has nothing to do with the x.
Right.
And then this number is called the y-intercept.
And you have to do the graph, and you kind of figure out where the dots go.
Right. So like if I have 2 points.
Mm-hmm. So that's x and y, and you got to figure out where they go on the graph.
Right. You can also find the slope by not even doing a graph too. The slope is the y over the x. So what you do is you always subtract. So I'm going to take the 2 y's and subtract them from one another. And I'm also going to take the 2 x's and subtract them from one another. And that gives me my slope, which is m.
Okay.
So this would be negative 6 over
and
1. So if I were going to write the equation for this line, this would be equal to negative 6.
Okay.
See where I stuck it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next part is to figure out this letter. You see how I have an x and a y and an x and a y?
Uh-huh.
I can substitute them into this equation, either one of the points, to figure out what my b is going to be. So let's just use this one. So y is equal to 1, and then x is equal to 4, so I'm going to have negative 6 times 4 plus b. Do you see where I substituted the numbers in?
Okay.
And then I just do the math. So negative 6 times 4 is negative 24.
Uh-huh.
And then I just move the negative 24 over.
So it's 25.
And then I just substitute this number back into here to write the equation for the line. So y equals negative 6x plus 25. That would be the equation for my line.
Okay.
So we'll practice that some too.
Okay.
I think I'm going to start with the linear stuff to make sure that you understand how to do this whole procedure because there's a lot of steps in it. And then we'll go from that to factoring, and then we'll go from factoring to the radical stuff that you saw at the bottom of that test. So I'm thinking that you could probably place into college algebra after we're done with this stuff.
Okay.
So maybe 3 or 4 more sessions, we should be able to finish all of that.
Okay.
Please check online. If it's not up and posted by Friday, please send me a text message or reminder to post the stuff that we did today up. I'm going to try to remember to do it after I leave, after I'm done with my next 2 sessions, but they're here now. So.
No, that's fine. Yeah, because I'm probably going to work on this weekend because I don't have anything planned this weekend. So.
Okay. I'll send you an email of stuff that you can actually practice, stuff that we've already gone over that you can practice.
Okay.
All right. Have a good week, and I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks, John.
All right, no problem. Bye.
Bye.